We begin with a Fox News alert. President Trump and Iran trading threats after the U.S. took out one of Tehran's top generals. The commander-in-chief is warning Iran it could suffer major retaliation if that rogue nation targets the United States. This as Soleimani's newly named successor is vowing revenge. And his daughter is promising a dark day is coming for the U.S. while speaking to hundreds of thousands of people lining the streets in Tehran for her father's funeral. Iran also is saying that it is withdrawing completely from the nuclear deal and will not abide by any of its limits. This after the president tweeted over the weekend. Here's the tweet. We have targeted 52 Iranian sites representing the 52 American hostages taken by Iran many years ago, some at a very high level important to Iran and the Iranian culture. And those targets and Iran itself will be hit very fast and very hard. The U.S. wants no more threats. You're watching Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner. Here today, Melissa Francis, host of Kennedy on Fox Business, Kennedy herself. Iona College political science professor, Jeannie Zaino. And in the center seat, inaugural, first-timer Cully Stimson. He served as the Deputy Assistant Defense Secretary for Detainee Affairs under President George W. Bush. Cully, as we affectionately call him now, even though we just met. Also a veteran who continues to serve as a JAG reservist in the Navy. He's currently a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation on national security law. And if we had 15 more minutes, I could read more resume, because yours is long. Hey, it's great to see you.
Great, thanks for having me. Really
Thanks
appreciate it.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, sure.
Important day. Let's start with the news, if you will, of the back and forth between the United States and Iran. What strikes you as the headline today, the top line, if you will, among those threats?
Well, the president took a bold and decisive action. It was long in coming, frankly. We've been back and forth with Iran for over 40 years. And this was not an assassination. This was a lawful killing of a combatant on the battlefield who was responsible for more than 603 American deaths, according to DoD statistics, from his own militias, and thousands of American deaths or injuries by his proxies. And so this guy is a bad dude.
Can I follow up with just one thing before we open it up to the couch? So you'll hear critics and those who are oppositional politically to the president of the United States saying things like, well, we were, sort of tacitly in a proxy war against Iran, and those 603 Americans killed were on the battlefield and that sort of thing. But when you say militia, there is decidedly a difference in how they operate. Talk to me about those American deaths and why people need to look at them as such and not just, two sides fighting each other.
Yeah, this guy funded, directed, planned, and schemed to send his people forward into Iraq mainly, but other places, to kill Americans and our allies. So his hands are bloody. He's dead. That's a good thing. He was a bad guy, and his people were directly responsible for killing American soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. And then his proxies, the cutouts, the people that he funded, trained, directed, strategically guided, also resulted in the deaths or injuries of thousands of Americans. This guy, according to David Petraeus, is a more important kill than Osama bin Laden or al-Baghdadi. And I put a lot of stake in what Petraeus says.
Well, Petraeus not always on the side of the president. I mean, he has been critical.
Right.
General Jack Keane was on a short time ago, and he said that this puts Iran in a position where they have to take a pause in the sense that they don't have someone, even though the other replacement has been training for a long time underneath him, it still deals a dramatic blow to them. And that at this point, it would be a very fortuitous time to quietly but forcefully step forward and say, would you like to come to the table now?
Yeah.
What do you think of that thinking?
No, I think General Keane is usually right, and he's right on this one. I mean, there is wise thinking in a need for a strategic pause. But the bold and decisive action by this president to take out a guy who could have been taken out any number of years by previous presidents. And
why didn't they do that?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them. But they could have, and they could have done it lawfully. Gives the diplomats and others behind the scenes time to work things out and say, look, we're not going to keep going up. We need to now take a pause and let the political process and the diplomats try to sort things out.